Hello and welcome to this particular video. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to use mirror and pattern in Autodesk Inventor. If you have been enjoying our videos, kindly subscribe to get notifications for new videos. You can also share and like this video and add a comment on this video if you have any questions. Now, let's get started. Now on the screen, you can see I have an already drawn model on the screen. I have an already drawn model. So now what we want to use this model to do is to use it to learn how to use mirror in Autodesk Inventor. Before you can use mirror, you will need to have a mirror plane. We need to have a mirror plane. The mirror plane actually is what determines how your mirrored object will look like, or the position of your mirror object. So now I'm going to use plane option here to create my mirror plane. So I click on plane, offset from plane. So I'm going to select one of the planes on this existing object. So offset from plane. So now I can now determine the position of my mirror plane. So you can drag or you can use dimension depending on what you want. So, okay. So now this is my mirror plane. So the position of this mirror plane is going to determine where the mirrored object will be located. So once I've done my mirror plane, then I can go ahead and use mirror. So now I'll go to my Autodesk Inventor and click on mirror. So a small box appears. So it says I should select my feature. So the feature is this entire object. So I'm going to select different features of this object that I would like to mirror. So I've been able to select different features of this object. Then the next thing for me to do is to specify my mirror plane. So mirror plane, I click on the mirror plane button here. Then I'm able to select the mirror plane. So you can see the preview of where the mirror image or the mirror image is being created. So accept. So here is a simple way on how to apply mirror. So if I want to remove this mirror plane, there are two ways to do that. So right click, remove visibility. Or another way you can do that is just go to your model browser tree, then remove visibility. So now I'm able to remove my mirror plane. So let's do this again. I want to apply a different mirror of this object in this direction. So the first thing, as I said, is to create the plane. Offset from plane. So offset from plane option actually indicates that you are going to select an existing plane, then you are going to offset from that existing plane. In this case, my existing plane is here. Then I'm going to specify the distance between the existing plane and the new plane. So 0.5. So I've been able to create my mirror plane. Then next is for me to use my mirror. I click on mirror, select the feature you want to mirror. Okay, so this is one feature, another feature. So just select the entire object that you would like to mirror. Once you are done, switch to mirror plane. Then you can select the plane. So it's going to create a mirror image, the same distance from the initial object to the mirror plane. The same distance is going to maintain from the mirror plane to the image that is being created. So now I've been able to create a mirrored version of this object. So I can remove this plane by removing visibility. Okay, so for the last time, we're going to create another mirror image, this time downwards in a downward direction. So I'm using my orbits, my orbit tool. So you can use your orbits this way also to turn around the image orbits. Let me create my plane below the base. Okay. All right. So now I've been able to create my plane below now. Now I'm going to, once you have created your plane down, you can now use mirror. So select the features you would like to mirror. So I'm going to select these three objects. I'm selecting the entire three objects. Then select the mirror plane, select this plane, then apply. So now you can see that now I'm having it upside down because my mirror plane is below. So visibility. So now you can see that the object has been turned upside down because my mirror plane is below the object. So it has created an inverted form of my 3D objects. So this is how to use mirror in Autodesk Inventor. So the next thing we're going to learn is how to create pattern in Autodesk Inventor. To apply pattern in Autodesk Inventor, there are three different methods to apply pattern in Autodesk Inventor. The first method is using rectangular pattern, then circular pattern, then sketch-driven pattern. So rectangular pattern is going to create a rectangular pattern of the original object, then circular pattern and sketch-driven pattern. So now let's make use of rectangular pattern first. So I click on rectangular pattern to open the dialog box for rectangular pattern. The first thing you will be expected to do is to select the features. So the features, the objects that you want to make a pattern. So make your selection of the object you want to use for the pattern. So once you have done, then the next thing is to specify your direction. So you have two different directions, direction 1 and direction 2. In order to be able to specify the direction properly, you might want to change your view to a top view to specify your direction properly. So now I'm on top view. So for my direction 1, click on this button to specify direction 1. You can choose whether vertically or horizontally to be your direction 1. Let me choose vertically for instance. Now you can see an arrow is appearing. An arrow is appearing for my direction 1. You can flip the direction of this arrow. You can flip the direction depending on how you want your direction 1 to be. Okay, so to specify direction 2, click on this arrow, then select your direction 2. Okay, you can see. So likewise, you can also flip this. You can flip this for your direction 2. Flip for your direction 2. So you can determine number of items you want. For direction 1, I want 5 items, 3, 4, 5. Direction 2, I want 3 items. So you can decide on number of items you want. In direction 1, 5. Direction 2, 3. Then now you can also specify the distance between the objects. You can adjust the distance between the objects. There are two ways you can adjust the distance. There are two major ways, using spacing method or using distance method. Now, if I switch this to distance method, you can see the objects are more compact. If it's on spacing, the objects are more spread. They are widely spread compared to distance. Now, the difference between spacing and distance is for spacing, this 1 inches, this 1 inches, this 1 inch means the distance, the gap between this original object and the new object is 1 inch. That's what this one here specifies for spacing. The gap between the original object and the next one is 1. From here to here is 1. From here to here is 1. From here to here is 1. If I change this to 2 inches, now it means the gap from here, original object, to the next one is 2 inches. From this to this is 2 inches. So from here to here is 1 inches. From here to here is 2 inches. Now, if I change this to distance, the interpretation of this is the total gap is 1. For the total 5 objects here, from here to here is 1. From here to here is 2. Is 2. That's what, okay, now this is still spacing. So it means from here to here is 2. But for distance, it means the total object is 1 here. If I change this to distance 2, so it means that from here to here is 2 inches. So from here to here is 2 inches. From here to here is 1 inches. That's using the distance method. But if you are on spacing, spacing means that from one object to the next one is 1 inches. From here to here is 1 inches. So that's the difference between using spacing or distance. So you can decide to use spacing or distance depending on what you want. Depending on what you want, you can decide to use either spacing or distance method to achieve your results. Okay, so now let me use this for distance method. So once I click OK to accept the changes, then we are going to see our rectangular pattern created. Now you can see we have been able to create our rectangular pattern, 5 in this direction, 3 in this direction. So that's how to make use of rectangular pattern. Okay, now, so the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to use our circular pattern. To make use of the circular pattern, now we will need the objects that we want to make a pattern. Then also we need an axis about which the object is going to rotate. So now to make the axis, I'm going to go to the left hand side and make visible my default axis. I have 3 default axes: x axis, y axis, and z axis. So I'm going to make this y axis, I'm going to make it visible. It's not visible at the moment, so I'll make it visible by right clicking visibility. So now you can see now that my axis is visible. So what I want to achieve is to make a pattern of this object round around this axis. So now I'll click on circular pattern. A dialog box appears, a box appears. So the first thing I'm expected to do on this box is to select my features. So I'll click on features, then I'll select the object I want to make a circular pattern. Then the next is to select my rotation axis. So I'm going to click on rotation axis and identify the axis about which I want to make a pattern. So now I'm going to change the number of items from 6 to 8. So depending on number of items you want to make that pattern, so you can change the number of items. They can also change the angle, or okay, if I want 8 items around 180 degrees. So you can see the preview of what 8 items around 180, or you can say 6 items around 180 or around 360. All depends on what you want. You can change. So you can also change your direction. You can see the direction of the pattern is this way. If you want to flip the direction, you can flip the direction. Okay, all right. So you can flip the direction by clicking on this arrow to flip the direction of your pattern by using of this flip button here. So if you are okay with the preview, then you can go ahead and accept. So now you can see I've been able to make 6 items of this object around this axis. Don't forget, to be able to make use of circular pattern, make sure that your axis is visible. Your axis is visible. So I've been able to make visible my default axis here. Then I've drawn my object initially, so I'm able to use circular pattern to make 6 items of this original uh, object around this axis. So I can now hide my axis. Now I'll remove the visibility. So now we have been able to make circular pattern, 6 circular pattern of the original object. The third type of pattern that we have is the sketch driven pattern. So I'm going to undo my operation here. So I'm still going to be working with this original object. I'll now be using sketch driven pattern. Sketch driven pattern. So to make use of the sketch driven pattern, I will have to select so sketch driven pattern is just a way of making copies of this original object at some specified points. So now I need to specify those points where I want this object to be placed. I need to first specify the points at which I want this object to be placed. So to do that, I'm going to make my plane, the flat plane, I'll make it visible. So start to the sketch, select this plane. Then using points, I'm going to mark out areas, where I want the object to be placed. So this does not have to be a regular, it's not going to give me a regular form. You can see I'm putting points as just irregular points on the plane. Okay, so now if I now choose sketch driven pattern, features, I'm going to select the object I want to make a pattern. So you can see automatically it has placed a preview of this object at the points that I've marked out. So if I'm okay with this, I can click on OK to apply. So now this is a way, it looks like as if I've made copies of this object at the specified points. So this is sketch driven pattern. So I've been able to mark out points where I want the pattern, where I want the object to be placed. I mark down those points, then automatically it places the 3D object at those points. So this is similarly like as if you are using copy, as if you are copying the original object at the points. So this is for sketch driven pattern. So now we have used rectangular pattern, we have used circular pattern, and we have used sketch driven pattern. So you can apply this pattern, any of this pattern, to achieve the result you want in Autodesk Inventor. If you have enjoyed this video, you can share this video with your friends. Also, subscribe and comment on this video if you have any question. Thank you.